Jackie Wilhelm. I'm the Director of Children's Ministry at Crossroads Christian Church in St. Matthews. This month, we're imagining all the ways we can use our creativity. You know, we're made in God's image, and God is indescribably creative, so we can be creative too, but goodness, sometimes my creativity just doesn't seem like enough. Sometimes it seems like I need a little help. Do you know why? Because we were created to work with others. That's right. You were created to work with others. You know, if you have a buddy, the two of you can work together to come up with a solution that, well, you might not have been able to accomplish on your own. Today's story is from the Gospel of Mark. And in chapter 2, the first 12 verses, is one of the best buddy stories in the whole Bible. When Jesus was around 30 years old, he began teaching and healing people. Large crowds gathered wherever he went. They wanted to hear what Jesus had to say and see him perform miracles of healing. At one point, Jesus left the town where he'd been living, the town of Capernaum, because word about him had spread so quickly. It was becoming too hard for him to get around and teach. But one day he came back to Capernaum. Once again, word spread quickly that Jesus had come. So many people gathered to see him that there was no room left. Not even outside the door of the house where he was teaching. Nearby, there was a man who wanted to come and join the crowds. He had heard stories of Jesus' miracles, and he wanted to see Jesus for himself. But there was a problem, a big problem. You see, the very reason the man wanted to get to see Jesus was also the reason the man couldn't get to see Jesus. He couldn't walk. How could someone who couldn't walk possibly even get near Jesus and make it all the way through the crowds to see him? However, things were about to change for this man because his friends came to the rescue. That's right. These men might not seem like heroes to everyone else, but they were certainly heroes for their friend. They used their creativity. The men picked up their friend on a mat and carried him to the house where Jesus was teaching. But things were about to get even harder for the man and his friends. When they arrived at the house where Jesus was preaching, it was surrounded. There were so many people there to hear Jesus speak, there was no chance of getting their friend in the door to see Jesus. But never fear. Once again, the man's friends came through for him. Once again, they came up with a creative solution to the problem. They climbed up on the roof with their friend and dug a hole through and lowered their friend down to see Jesus. When Jesus saw his friend's faith, he looked at the man and said, "Son, your sins are forgiven." Jesus knew that some of the teachers of the law in the crowd were shocked by what he had said. So he said to them, "Why are you thinking these things? Is it easier to say to this man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up, take your mat, and walk'? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Jesus was telling them that he did have the authority to forgive sins because he is the Son of God. And then he proved it. Jesus told the man, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." And that's exactly what the man did. He stood up, picked up his mat, and walked through the crowd. The people praised God. They said, "We have never seen anything like this." This man needed a miracle, but he had some friends who knew how to use the power of creativity. These men showed up big time for their friend. They knew they had to get him to Jesus, the one who had the power not only to heal him, but to forgive his sins. They didn't let anything stand in their way. I love the story about how these four friends used their creativity and their ability to do something great for their friend. God gave them that creativity and those abilities and their friendship, and God did the same for you. Just like these four friends here, we can use our creativity together. You know, we're made in God's image, so we can reflect who God is to those around us. With the creativity God gives us, we can do so much more together than we could ever do on our own. It could be something really simple like wanting to buy a gift for your parents and, well, you can't afford it by yourself. But if you put your money together with your brothers and your sisters, maybe you can get it done. Or maybe somebody falls down on the playground and you need help getting them back up. Or do you see that person over there in the lunchroom, the one who's sitting alone? You and your friend could go over and sit with them and cheer them up. Gosh, there's so many things that we can do together, just like God intended. I just can't wait to learn more about our indescribably creative God with you next week. Goodbye.